Nick Wagner of ESPN did an excellent story chronicling the departure of Mike McGlinchey from the 49ers, his free agent journey. And part of the story was that the Niners were trying to trade him last year. They understood they were never going to re-sign him, and they went up and they apparently told him, look, hey, we're looking around, see if we can trade him. They didn't. They ended up getting a third-round comp pick for him next year. What do you think of this news that the Niners were flirting with trading McGlinchey midseason?
I mean, it's good. It's actually good to hear because it's a good strategy, right? Like if you know you're going to lose a player and you're not going to re-sign him anyways, wouldn't you want to like try to offload that player to get something for him, especially if you think you can replace him, with an adequate replacement. I don't know. They maybe could have during the year, but it is nice to see that they're looking at their options. But it doesn't surprise me really. I mean, they did trade DeForest Buckner right before. Obviously, a different player, different caliber of player, and they seem like they at least talk like they're very forthcoming with their players. So it does make sense, right?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Like they always said, they said like they really like him. And the Broncos gave him this huge contract, like he's really important. But they were going to trade him midseason on a title run. Like they don't. Apparently, they think they're just fine with Colton McKivitz, right? Because they were real close to doing that, trading McGlinchey, starting McKivitz the rest of the way. And frankly, how could we blame him? Because in 2021, McGlinchey went down, and they started Tom Compton the rest of the way and made it just as far as they made it with McGlinchey this year. So, despite how much they say they like him, I don't think they really feel like he's tough to replace. I think they felt like he was not essential to their title run at any point. And I agree with them.
I think he's probably, like, if he's on your roster, I think he's better, like, at least to last year. Like, he's better than Colton McKivitz. So if he's on your roster, you're going to go with Mike McGlinchey. But if he's when you're comparing Mike McGlinchey versus maybe if they got a second round pick for him or something like that, the second round pick is worth the slight downgrade to Colton McKivitz, right? When you're going to lose Mike McGlinchey anyways the next year.
Right. And maybe it's like they felt it's so close between McGlinchey and McKivitz anyway. Play McGlinchey. Pretend you like him. See what you can get for him in a trade. I wonder, though. I bet you they didn't get many good offers. I bet you they figured, let's just take that third round comp pick for him. That'll be better than whatever people are offering. And that's pretty interesting.
But because I bet a lot of the teams, like Mike, you would trade for Mike McGlinchey, I would think, if you are in desperate need of a right tackle and you're in contention. When I don't know how many of those teams were out there, and they're like the teams that we're gonna sign him. I feel like we're like, well, why do we need to make that trade? We'll just do it in the offseason. It's not like we're not trading for. It's not Trent Williams. It's not a guy like, obviously he's the best right tackle on the market, but what's the market? And then he's not a Hall of Fame potential tackle. Like, we got to go get this guy. He's on the line.
So they probably didn't get great offers. The Niners probably figured, if we play him the rest of the season, some stupid team will give him way too much money, and we'll get a third round comp pick. And that's exactly what happened. And the article made it seem like the Broncos, made the right move, and the Niners saw this coming. A player his caliber, they couldn't afford it. It seemed like the Broncos were the suckers of the offseason, and they gave out the worst contract of the offseason. What were they
thinking? They replaced the right tackle that they signed from the 49ers with the right with the other right tackle.
Yeah, honestly, they signed Tom Compton the year before. They didn't learn their lesson. They're getting Tom Compton 2.0.
Next year they'll get Colton McKivitz.
They'll get Colton McKivitz next year. Hilarious. So what did we learn from this? The Niners preserved Mike McGlinchey's value. It's important for them to start him and say, he's good, because all it took was one team like the Broncos to give him a big contract, and now the Niners get something for McGlinchey. They got a third-round comp pick. I bet you it's more than he was worth in an actual trade. So that's pretty genius. They kind of spoke that into existence, and Sean Payton and George Patton and John Elway, or I don't even know if he's still involved, but they fell for it. Hilarious. And good for Mike, though. $50 million guaranteed.
No, sweet for Mike.
Sweet for Mike. Dude, I said this one time after a preseason game. Why is this so funny? Fernando. I think it's just my nephew. He's probably just calling it. Nah, he doesn't have $2 to give me.